Okay, so there we go. I think that has pretty much got it mixed. Okay, so now we're going to pour into our mold, and there are a couple of ways that you can pour. There are a couple of little tricks to, again, cut down on bubbles. You can take these the little measure cups and see how you can squeeze it almost closed. And what that does, that allows you to control your pour a drop at a time. Okay? Now then there is another trick that you can pour over the paddle, and what this action does is actually break up the bubbles as it hits the paddle surface, okay? The stir stick surface, okay? Now then, your stir sticks are reusable, so while they're still wet, after you've mixed and you've moved your resin around in the mold and it's just where you want it, then you can just take a soft cloth, and mine has fallen on the floor, so I'm just going to use this towel and just wipe it off. If you forget, once the resin has dried on here, you can kind of just go and flake it off, and then you can use a little bit of acetone fingernail polish remover or denatured alcohol, you know, and wipe it off that way. Okay, and so now you've poured your resin into the casting, and you can use your paddle and move the resin around to get it in all the corners and all the little intricate areas. Now, if there are bubbles, you can take a toothpick or a pen, and you can pop those or move them up to the edge and move them out and off of the mold. Okay, so there we go. Now then, once the casting has cured, it will cure in the hot box for about an hour. Other than that, it's going to take, let's say, overnight, okay, for your regular casting to cure. And once it has cured, you're going to, all resin shrinks, okay? So your casting is here in the mold, and you have these like little sharp edges that kind of come up the side to where it makes the center part of the cavity kind of a valley or a dip, okay? That's from resin shrinkage, okay? No big deal. That's just a characteristic. But what you can do is, before you take it out of the mold, you can take a little bit of liquid resin, move it around here, and fill in that valley that's there in the resin. Okay, now then what will happen is you'll have a casting that has a very nice, shiny, flat surface. So the super clear resin has been formulated so that you can drill, so that you can sand, and so that you can polish and buff. Yeah, cool, huh? It's not going to get hot and melt like other epoxies when you put it on a polish and buffing wheel, okay? So, but what I like to use is just a regular nail file. I have them in several different grits, okay? And then all I really have to do is kind of file off a little bit of the sharp edge, because remember, I've taken and filled in my valley there. So this is a nice flat surface. So all I'm wanting to do is just take a little bit of an edge off there on, and then that way I'm not sanding my sides, I'm not sanding my back, and I'm not having to recoat it, okay? But if you did want to recoat it, Then you could put some clear packing tape, okay, on the flat surface, and then you can lay it on the ResinObsession drying mat, and you can pour a new coat over your casted piece, and you can let it run off the edges. Now remember, this had plastic tape on the back, on the bottom of it, and resin is not going to stick to the drying mat. So once it has cured, then I would just take and flex my drying mat and snap off any cured resin. Now then you can take your mold and put it here in the hot box and let it cure in there. You also want to take and cover it with some type of box, plastic container or something, just to keep the dust and stuff out of it, okay? And so there we go, and we can put that in there. And since the hot box uses a light bulb, it's very easy to control the temperature that's in the hot box, okay?